Hi everyone, welcome to episode 28 of the By the Lakeside podcast. My name is Sandy and this is a podcast about my knitting and sewing which takes place here in my home, in my workroom or sewing room, which is by the lake just outside of Toronto in Canada. I live here with my husband of almost 18 years and our two boys who are in grade 6 and grade 9 and officially finished today. I am so happy that it's the last day of school for James. He will be home soon and Camden finished yesterday. So we are really excited. It has been a really busy June and I've been counting down towards this day. I am so happy. We don't have a ton of plans. We don't normally, even if I am home. We're kind of a low-key family, so we have lots of chilling out planned, maybe visits to the lake and the nearby beaches when we can, and the conservation area, and we don't have a ton planned. So I'm going to start thinking about that this weekend and next week, but we're in no hurry. We are just going to enjoy the time, and it feels like it's been a long time coming. It has been definitely a busy year for adjustments, having someone in high school and just all kinds of stuff going on. So I am really excited to be back so soon. I think the last podcast was only 2 weeks ago, which is pretty good for me. So I'm feeling really good. In my last podcast, I was talking a lot about dream knitting, and so I have lots of good knitting to talk about today. In the meantime, if you are looking for me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram as Sandy by the Lakeside. I had to think about that for a second because I recently changed that. So Sandy by the Lakeside on Instagram. On Ravelry, my username is Sandyran, and I also have a By the Lakeside group over on Ravelry in the groups tab. If you want to know anything more about this podcast or a previous one, you can hop on over there and check that out. And lastly, I have a website, which is bythelakeside.com. And I recently switched over my website, the platform, and I'm really excited about it. And for my next shop update, which will be July 12th, which is in a couple of weeks, it will not be on Etsy anymore. So you can check out my website and you can shop directly on that site. I did decide to go with Shopify, and I've been working on this for a couple of months, and it's kind of funny because there was a big announcement and a lot of people were talking about Etsy and some increases in fees and things, and it was kind of funny timing because the week they announced it is the week that I actually switched over. I had already done all of the work on the website. I was just kind of finalizing a few details. So I will no longer be on Etsy. You can find everything you need from me on my website. So I have a lot of exciting knitting to talk about today. I am going to jump right in. I pulled out this basket that I had bought in Rhinebeck last year, and I love it. I had all kinds of pom-pom stuff in here and tassel stuff, but I decided I needed a spot for all of these new WIPs. There are 4 of them. And I love every single one. It's like asking to choose your favorite child. I couldn't do it because every single one of these is so much fun. So I did have a couple of things that I was working on before, but I've kind of tucked them away. There was little cabin sweater that I had started, and I love it. But these projects kind of took over, and the little cabin seemed a little bit wintry for me, so I decided to put it aside for now. And I picked up a new project bag recently, which I'm super excited about. It is I think it's called Toffee Color, the Fringe Supply Company French Feel Bag. And I got another Caitlin Hunter pattern, which I spoke about last time. So I cast on for the Tecumseh, and here it is. It's a little dark and shadowy in here, but I hope you can get a good sense of the color. I am loving this knit. I'm just looking for the front because there's some short rows in the back, and I just want you to see the get a good view of it. So it's the Tecumseh. I love it. It's been really, really simple so far. I am using Quince & Co. yarn, the Phoebe base, which I have never used before. And I've always really liked Quince, but this base is so soft and squishy. It's really dreamy to knit with. I love it. And I also love these colors so much. Let's see if I can remember them. So my main color for the body is called Jupiter, and it kind of photographs differently every time I take a picture of it, but it's really a soft, neutral gray. Very, very, very light gray, but it's definitely got a gray tint to it, and I think it's beautiful. Let's see, I think that's kind of a good representation of it. I love it. So this is called Jupiter. This kind of corally peach color is called Venus, which is quite appropriate. And then this kind of burgundy color is Mars. So I am loving the combination. I'm so happy with it. I love knitting it. It's one of those, I mean, so many people are knitting with it already, or knitting it. And if you've done any color work before, you know how addictive it can be. So it really, really is. You just want to do one more row. And I've had a couple people ask me if color work is difficult or if I watched any tutorials or anything like that. And to be really honest, I haven't. I'm not an expert at it, and I don't use two hands to do it. I just enjoy following the chart. And just trying not to go not to knit very tightly so that you're not getting any bunching. The first color work project that I can remember trying was my Branches and Buds sweater, and it was an easy to read pattern, and I feel like this is pretty similar. It's really difficult to mess up, I think. And once you get a couple rows of this pattern done, it really starts to become easy to see where you're at in the pattern. So I'm loving it. This one, I cannot wait to wear this. I hope I chose the right size. I know this one has a lot of positive ease, but I love it. I think I am going to be really happy with this. So that is the first one that I cast on. I am using, I think these are Knitter's Pride, the rosewood needles, which I really, really enjoy. And I don't have the size here, and I can't remember what this was actually. I think I might be able to tell you. The needles, no, I don't have it here. Okay. Well, I did set up project pages in Ravelry for all of these projects in case anyone was interested or missed out on what yarns I'm using and what colors. So you can check that out if you want any more details. I have put needle sizes and all of the yarn information there. Which one will I do next? Oh, I'm gonna do one that you have seen before, but I have been working on it and it still has my heart. It is in one of my large project bags, and this has become one of my favorite ones actually, this pink polka dot. And I think I have more fabric in this, so I'm gonna try to do some more later this summer. So this project I have shown a few times and I am in love with it. It is A Girl's Best Friend by Isabel Kramer. I have gotten just another repeat or two done since the last time, and it's really growing and I'm really enjoying this. So this is using, so far I've just used the Madeline Tosh in Scout. I think it's the, let me just double check, Tosh Merino Light. So it's this beautiful pink that I've shown. I have one of Amber's beautiful Progress Keepers here from Maker's Haven. And on this project, I'm using my Licky needles, and this is a US 4. So this one I'm loving. Yesterday, I noticed that I made a bit of a mistake. I don't know why, but whenever I do a shawl with these yarn overs in the center, I have a hard time keeping my stitch markers in place because of the yarn overs, and I must have lost track while I was distracted the other night, and my center like my center line here was off and it looked horrible. So I had to go back, and I'm also really not good at just ripping it out and sticking my needle back in unless it's just a simple garter or stockinette. But because this was like a little bit of a pattern and there were yarn overs, I had to actually knit back a few rows. So in the end, it wasn't so bad, and I'm really happy that I did it, and I'm excited to get to the next color. So I have one more of these little repeats to do before I can add in my contrast color 2, which is also Madeline Tosh. This color is Ginger. And then the other color in here will be this beautiful Julie Aslan. The base is Fino and the color is Broom. So I cannot wait. I'm really excited. I want to wear this. I want to get to the next color. I have just been on a knitting binge. I feel like all I want to do is knit. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I feel like I might have Tabby and Rachel from the Hey Sister podcast to blame, which is a good thing. But one of their last episodes really just inspired me, and I've been trying to carve out more time for knitting. And now that school is pretty much done, today it's done, I won't be spending as much time working on some stuff with my high schooler. There was a lot of weekends spent doing projects with him and setting up study notes, because apparently my 14-year-old son doesn't really believe in studying or study notes, and so he needed a little bit of direction there. But it's all good. It's all done now, and we're in a good place. So project number 3 that I am working on is in another one of my By the Lakeside bags, and this is another one of my favorites, and I think I do have this fabric. So I think I'm going to work on some of these larger bags later this summer. Because I've been so busy, I just haven't been able to do as many bags lately, but they're coming, and you will see them soon. Okay, in this bag, I feel very, very spoiled, but I did a swap with one of my favorite yarn dyers, the lovely ladies from Nice and Knit. We did a bit of a swap. I sent them some bags, and they sent me a kit that I have been coveting for quite some time. Now, I've already wound up a whole bunch of them. I've posted pictures on my Instagram. I'm trying to think of how I can show you this beautifully, but I'm going to show you the project first. So it is the Adventurous Wrap Kit, and it came with 25 different colors for this wrap. I have loved this wrap since I saw it months and months ago, and I love garter stitch. Like, this type of knitting for me is just so good for my soul, and I have loved this. I've been whipping this up. This is great for soccer. I think it will be great for camping this year, where I'm not trying to keep up with the pattern too much. So it's the Adventurous Wrap by Amba O'Brien, and it's where you use a whole bunch of minis and just kind of fade them out. You can either stripe them or fade them. I am doing the fade version, and I love these colors so far. So the first triangle that you do, I'm working on right now, and I'm going to show you some of the, I can't hold them all, but these are some of the other colors. So I'm really going to fade into a bunch of neutrals in the middle here, and then into more purples. So that is my first triangle. And then the second one is going to be, now I've mixed in one or two other ones here, but basically, I'll just lift this up and try not to mess them up. This will be the other triangle. So I think the larger section will be these beautiful peaches and fade into more neutrals again, and then get into these pinks and brighter fuchsias. So I love it so much. So much. So Katie and Kara, thank you so very much. This was such a fun swap, and it is bringing me so much joy. So I've got this really cute, colorful stitch marker here, or sorry, Progress Keeper. And I'm pretty sure this one was from, I think this one was from Sucra Sucra. I don't have that many of these. I have, a lot of them that I have are from the gnome knitter who I love, and I'm anxiously waiting for her shop to reopen. And I have a couple from Sucra Sucra Miniatures. So yeah, this one, I love it. And I'm knitting this on a new to me needle. This is a Chaigu fixed circular. It does have this bend in it, which I thought might annoy me, but it actually doesn't. I'm enjoying it. So, and I did buy 2 of these needles so that if I feel like it, I can start the second triangle simultaneously. That way, when the rows get super, super long on this one, or if I just need to change things up, I can switch over into the other triangle. So I will finish caking up those minis, and this is just, it's been so much fun. I really, really love it. And the yarn from Nice and Knit, I just want to show you some of these colors because their colors are really, really beautiful. Can you see those? So pretty. Their spring collection of yarns was really, really gorgeous too. I'm not sure if you were able to see those on their website or what is left, but really gorgeous. A lot of them were inspired by nature and by flowers, and they've really become one of my favorite yarn dyers. So super excited about that project. And my last new cast on, I have so many patterns here, is in this fun bag that I bought, I think 2 years ago maybe. It is from Zigzag Stitches, and I love the print on this one. So pretty. And I don't really take this one out in the winter months, but as soon as spring comes around, I love having this bag out. So this project is called the Bayou shawl, and I am using Quince & Co. in the Kestrel. And I did cast on, and I really, really love this one too. I did most of this sitting outside one day, and this is another one that I cannot wait to sit with it and spend time on this pattern, because you just get so excited to see this pattern emerge. I'm trying to get it there if you can see a little bit. This beautiful pattern is coming out. Oh, I feel so awkward. I love it. So this one I am knitting on my interchangeable Licky needles. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I almost said noodles. It's a US 10.5, so they're a bit bigger, and it's going a little bit faster because of that. I'm really, really enjoying this. And I think once I block it, it's just gonna be stunning. And all of these projects are demanding my attention, and I've been really good at sort of rotating. And the only thing that I'm thinking is I should probably spend a little more time on this so I can get some wear out of it this summer. It'll be later this summer, but it's so beautiful. It is, I can't remember if it's 100% linen. It is. It's 100% organic linen. And this color that I have is called Quill. I've shown it before too. It's just a beautiful purpley blue. Oh, I cannot wait. So now my biggest dilemma is, what do I knit on first? I've really been jumping around and spending, a couple of days on one and then rotating. And I think the Adventurous wrap is obviously a really big one. I didn't show you a picture. I don't know if I have one, but it's quite large. So I think that one will probably be an ongoing project, and once it gets a little bit big, I'll probably leave it in my bedroom and try to just plug away at that one whenever I feel like a bit of garter stitch. This beautiful Bayou shawl, I think I need to spend more time on it so that I have a bit of progress made sooner rather than later. But then the other two, they're so beautiful. They're just so beautiful. I cannot get enough of these projects. So happy. I think I'm finally back in my knitting groove. It feels really, really good. I'm so excited. So that is it for knitting. I don't think I have, the only sewing that I have done since the last podcast is some shop sewing, and that, like I said, was very selective. Like I didn't really have a lot of time to be doing that in the last month, so I've sort of had a later start than I was hoping. I did get a new machine, and I've been fixing up this room a little bit to kind of help my productivity, and I think it's finally settling down, and I've been starting to get ready for the next shop update. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's coming for the shop. I told you about my new website, which I am super excited about. I haven't figured out all of the little details yet. I think eventually I will try to do a newsletter, but I just haven't been able to sort through all of that just yet. So the next shop update will be on Thursday, July 12th at 12 p.m. And in that update, I will be listing. I've been working on some little patchwork pouches, and I think this was my transition into sewing for the shop again. I think I just needed a bit of a break, so I took one, and then this got me back into the swing of things. I love making these. I have a couple of these florals. I did have more, but gave one to for a teacher's gift. One to my amazing hairdresser because she deserved one. And oh, I have some of these little scissors ones, which I love so much. So not a ton of them. They are very time consuming. If before the next shop update I have a bit more time, free time, then I might do some more of these because I'm really enjoying them. But they do take quite a bit of time. For small project bags, I will be listing a whole bunch more of these polka dot signature denim ones. They're like a chambray dot. I really like these ones. They're super classic. And they have that little gingham inside, which I think really looks super cute. So you can use it as a bucket too if you put your project in here. And it's a great sock bag, but it actually fits, I think it comfortably fits a couple of skeins in here if they're not, if your project is not too big. Hats or two skein projects fit in here too. So that's my small project bag. I will also be working on some of these beautiful Rifle Paper Company floral ones with this amazing gold dot lining. Love these. I'm gonna put a peach zipper in here. So I have a whole bunch of these coming too. I think it's a really pretty summer floral. I hope to, I'm pretty sure I will have some tote bags in the next update. And the only thing I'm not sure about is the large project bags. Depending on how our next 2 weeks go and what I'm doing with the kids, I might try and squeeze in some more. I have some of these fabrics, and I also have this fabric that I do the project bags in, which I can't reach right now, but so if I have time, I will put some of those in. If the large project bags do not get in the next update, then they will be soon after that. So I will be working on them this summer, and they will be there soon. I am going to stick to having a scheduled shop update for now because it just seems to really work for me. It helps me stay on track and helps me prioritize things. And I know that sometimes it creates a bit of a flurry and a buzz. And so what I've been trying to do, and I think it's been helping, is obviously I'm sewing as much as I can. I'm doing a little bit more than I used to. And I'm not posting it as much. So I'm not like leading up to the shop update. I'm not really, other than once or twice, I'm not really mentioning it on Instagram too much. That way, if you have been waiting for something and you've been following me for a while, you will have an opportunity to grab something. And I'm also hoping that Shopify will help with the whole cart jacking situation, because Etsy is a little bit known for that. Until you click purchase and it goes through, you're not guaranteed that item. Whereas in Shopify, I believe you have, I don't remember if it's 1 minute or 3 minutes or 5, but if it's in your cart and you start the payment process, until you finish that process within a certain amount of time, it's yours. So I hope that that will help a little bit, because I know there's been some frustrations, but I am trying to sew more. So if you don't get something in this next update, please don't worry. I will be continuing to sew all summer. I'm just going to be hanging out with the kids, sewing bags, and lots of knitting. So I'm excited about my shop. And then I guess the only things left to talk about today are some of my favorite things. I really wanted to mention these today. First thing, I feel like I'm saying a lot, but sorry. First thing I am loving was a gift, and I have shown it when I got a package in the mail from my lovely friend Gaina, who is Cuckoo. Actually, she's changed her name on Instagram too, and I'm not sure if I'm getting it exactly right, but I think she's changed it to her podcast name as well, which is Tales from Cuckoo Land. So it is this lotion bar that she sent me in a swap that we did a little while back. It's the Love and Leishy lotion bar in lemongrass, and I really love it. It's just been really, really easy to use. I find it, I like it more than putting lotion on my hands. I don't know why. I just feel like pouring out lotion, and it sometimes gets messy, but I really like this one, and it also really gets into your dry cuticles and things. So I'm really enjoying this. Thank you again, Gaina. It is definitely one of my favorite things, and if I'm working on a project for a while, I actually put this in my project bag. So it's going in my WIP basket because I love it that much. Something else that I'm really excited about, it took forever to arrive here in Canada. I ordered it when they did the launch. I think it was the first week of May, and I just got it last week. I got a new planner, which is the simplified planner, and I have never tried this one before. It's the planner by Emily Lai. I don't know if it's Lay or Lai, but there's her name on the back. And I have just been following her on Instagram, and I saw a few people with layouts of their planner, and I really, really liked it. And I thought, because I'm home, I'm not really worried about the portability of it. I'm getting lotion fingers all over it, but I love this print with this polka dot. It's very, very pretty. And I actually wanted a daily layout, which I never get. I always like the weekly. But because I'm home, I'm really going to be trying to be super intentional with my time. And I'm really going to try not to let too much time pass with my head buried in sewing or housework. I really want to carve out time to do exciting things with the kids this summer, or just spend time with them and knit. So that's why I decided to do that one. It is, I think they call it the academic version, because this one will start in August. So even though I love my other planners and my Hobonichis, I'm gonna try this one starting in August. That's really exciting. What else? Oh, okay. This isn't a favorite thing, it's favorite people. I really wanted to mention a couple of podcasts that I started watching recently. The first one, I don't know where I have been. I don't know what is wrong with me, but sometimes, you know, you find a podcast and you're like, this has been going on for a really long time and nobody told me. So the Chelsea Pearls podcast, I just discovered this past weekend, I think. I think it was this weekend. And I am obsessed. I didn't even know this was a podcast, and I love it. It is a podcast with Christina and Miriam, who I adore. They just have the best rapport with each other, and I really like their the story of how they met. And I knew of Chelsea Yarns, like I had heard of Chelsea Yarns, but I don't know, something never clicked, and I never really, anyways, I found them somehow. and I really, really love it. If you have not seen this podcast, which you probably have, but if you have not, you should really check it out. They are a hoot. I'm really enjoying it. They're the type of podcast where with all this knitting that I'm doing, I just feel like I have some friends in the background, and every once in a while I have to look up to see these beautiful projects, because the projects that they show, and I think, I'm not sure if it's both of them, but Christina is the shop owner and the yarn dyer, and Miriam is her friend, and they're both great knitters. But I think a lot of the projects are Christina's doing or knit in her shop, and they're totally my style. The colors that they choose, the projects that they choose, I really love it. So I've got my knitting on my lap, I've got them on my iPad to the side, and then every time they start going through their like Shawlapalooza shawl recommendations, I've got my phone on the other side, and I'm in Ravelry and I'm favoriting projects, and it's just a lot of fun. I feel like I'm sitting around with some fellow knitters, and love them. They are the home of, oh, what's it called? The Big Kahuna, which is this huge yarn that, I was gonna say Chelsea, and I always think that Christina's name is Chelsea because it's Chelsea Yarns, but Christina's husband, who is Red Bank Mike, who's not really a Mike, which is very confusing at first, but if you watch them, you'll get all of this. He magic loops together a whole bunch of different beautiful hand-dyed yarns and cakes them up into this huge kahuna. And I really need to get one day. I think it's going on my my wish list for when I finally learn how to do crochet, because I'm dying to do a granny stripe. Granny stripe, yeah, not a granny square, a granny stripe crochet blanket. And I think that would be perfect. Everything they have in the store is like, you're gonna want it. You're gonna want to shop, you're gonna want to visit, and I'm trying to figure out how I can go to New Jersey to visit because it's that good. So anyways, you should really check them out. They are amazing, and they are trying to get to, well, Red Bank Mike wants them to get to 3,000 subscribers because they have a little bit of a bet going on that if and when they do, they will be doing a live podcast or with a studio audience, which is really fun. So thank you so much, Christina and Miriam, for your amazing podcast. I love it. I've been enjoying it so much. And if you haven't checked them out, you should, because I think you would really enjoy them. A second podcast, which I'm just a little bit late on, not as, it hasn't been around that long, but it's from my sweet friend Patricia of Paradise Island, and she is knitter extraordinaire and bag maker, and she's just a generally lovely, lovely person. And she has a podcast, which I knew about and I was kind of saving, and I just caught up on her 2 episodes last week, and they are really, really enjoyable as well. So if you have not checked out Paradise Island, the podcast, you really should. She is a phenomenal knitter, and she's just the sweetest. I think you will really enjoy her projects and her yarn choices and her taste. It's just beautiful. So I totally think that if you are in the market for some new podcasts this summer, that you should check out both of them. I highly recommend them, and they're just really entertaining. I think that's it for my favorite things. The only other thing I've been thinking about that I just had to share, and I'll probably share a little bit more about this on my Insta stories, because I have a new obsession. We love pizza. I mean, who doesn't? But we love pizza, especially when you go to like an Italian restaurant and you get that really thin, bubbly crust pizza that's done in the like big wood oven. And I have dreams of getting a wood oven for our backyard. Some people want a hot tub. I would prefer a pizza oven. But because our winters are long and I'm not sure if it would really be worth the investment, I'm trying to find a way to create a pizza oven style pizza in my home. And I have stoneware, which, has worked in the past, and a great pizza dough recipe, but I found a whole bunch of I found a whole new rabbit hole to bury myself into. there's something called a pizza steel, and I've ordered one, waiting for that to come. I ordered a new pizza peel because the last one that I had was wood and it cracked and split in half and I never replaced it, so I'm going to be getting one of those. I have new recipes printed to try out. Oh my gosh, look at that. To do a really thin crust pizza at home. So I'm bringing back Friday night pizza at our house, and without the pizza oven, but I am determined to figure it out. I've got some tips, I've been researching it, and I am excited to share my new pizza chronicles with you because Friday nights in our house are going to be a really good pizza. And I think we'll save a lot of money this way too, because buying those pizzas at the restaurant can be pretty expensive. And they're really simple. So that's what's going on around here. I am going to go wait for James to get home from his last day of school, and we might have a little celebration tonight for the real beginning of our summer. And I'll be busy sewing, and I'll be updating you about the shop update, which will be July 12th. And I'm hoping to have a more regular schedule this summer with podcasting and shop updates. So I just wanted to thank you again for joining me if you're still here and you've been listening to all of my rambling today. Thank you if you are, a returning viewer, or if you are new, thank you for checking out my podcast. And I will be back soon, hopefully with lots and lots of progress on all of my knitting projects. There will be lots of progress this summer. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have the most amazing start to your summer and a wonderful Canada Day weekend or 4th of July holiday, which is coming up, I think, next week. So thanks, everyone. Take care.